So given f of x and g of x, we want to first find f composed with g of x. Now f composed with g of x by definition is f of g of x. So what I'm going to do is, now whenever you need to do f of something, all you need to do is, in place of x, you need to replace it with whatever is in the parentheses. So you have to replace it with g of x. So what I'm going to do is, wherever there's x in f of x, I'm going to replace it with g of x. So this is going to equal f of, now g of x is 5 minus 4x. So I have to find f of 5 minus 4x. Now what happens when you take f of a number is you multiply 3 times to the number. So 3 times 5 minus 4x minus 7. And we simplify this now by multiplying 3, distributing it to both the terms inside the parentheses. So 3 times 5 is 15, and 3 times negative 4 is negative 12x minus 7. 15 minus 7 is 8. So we have 8 minus 12x is f composed with g of x. Now similarly, we want to find out what g composed with f of x is. And this again by definition is g of f of x. So once again, we're going to do the same thing. You're going to find g of something. Now you have a formula for g of x with x in it, so you're just going to replace that x by the something. So this is g of f of x, which is 3x minus 7. So this will be 5 minus 4 times, and then in place of x, we plug in 3x minus 7. So we have 5 minus, now we distribute the 4 to both the terms inside the parentheses. So 4 times 3x, negative 4 times 3x is negative 12x, and negative 4 times negative 7 is positive 28. 28 plus 5 is 33 minus 12 times x. So we have both of these answers right now. F composed with g of x is 8 minus 12x, and g composed with f of x is 33 minus 12x. We also want to find out what f composed with g of 7 is. So that's easy. I'm going to go back to this part where I wrote down f composed with g of x is 8 minus 12x. So if I need to find out what f composed with g of 7 is, well, all you need to do is you need to take the x here and you need to replace it with 7. So the answer to that will be 8 minus 12 times 7. So that's 8 minus 84, which is negative 76. So f composed with g of 7 is negative 76. Okay. Further, we want to look at what the domains of f composed with g and g composed with f are. So before I write that, let me just write down a little note here. When you do f composed with g of x, you're taking f of g of x. So what you need to do is we need to first look at the domain of g of x. Now, g of x, if I remember right, is 5 minus 4x. And the domain, so the domain of g of x is going to be everything, because it's just a linear function. So it's going to be everything from negative infinity to infinity. And when I take f composed with g of x, well, f composed with g of x is equal to 8 minus 12x. And again, the domain here of this function would be everything from negative infinity to infinity. So you can accept all possible numbers, which means that the domain of f composed with g is negative infinity, infinity, all the real numbers. What about the domain of g composed with f? Now, in order to do that, for g composed with f of x, we first need to find out what the domain is of f. Now again, f of x, let's go back to the beginning, is 3x minus 7. This is again a linear function, so the domain of f will be everything from negative infinity to infinity. And g composed with f of x was given by 33 minus 12x, which is again a linear function, so the domain includes all the real numbers, everything from negative infinity to infinity. The domain of f composed with g is combining these two domains, and therefore you can include all the real numbers. Since these are all linear functions, it's everything from negative infinity to infinity. You can apply it to all the x values. There's no x value that needs to be excluded.